From stealing songs to writing offensive lyrics and covering for her cheating husband, here's our list of 10 awful lies Beyoncé tried to get away with. Starting off, we have lying about writing a song. In a 2008 interview with Marie Claire UK, Beyoncé implied that some of the lyrics to her 2006 single Irreplaceable weren't actually aimed at Jay-Z. But then controversy arose over the writing credits on Irreplaceable. Now, singer-songwriter Ne-Yo told MTV apparently Beyoncé was at a show somewhere, and right before the song came on she said, "I wrote this for all my ladies," and then the song came on. The song is a co-write. I wrote the lyrics, I wrote all the lyrics. Beyoncé helped me with the melodies and the harmonies and the vocal arrangement, and that makes it a co-write. Meaning my contribution and her contribution made the song what it is. Now in 2011, Ne-Yo said he wrote the song for himself, but thought that it would be better suited for Beyoncé. Now some of Beyoncé's fans read Ne-Yo's remarks as disrespectful towards her. However, he clarified his comment later through Twitter, writing, "I said I originally wrote the song for me. Once I realized how the song comes across if sung by a guy, that's when I decided to give it away." Next up is the tone-deaf performance. Beyoncé took part in a 9/11 memorial concert in New York City, but many people believe her performing her song Diva was in poor taste and wonder why she didn't get cancelled. In the track she says, "No passengers on my plane," as well this is a stick-up, which she fiercely sang in front of the families of 9/11 victims while putting her arms out like an airplane. The crowd got quiet back there, with someone noting under the YouTube's clips comments, "The literal buildings on the screen falling down, WTF," referring to the set's backdrop. Now a Redditor also wrote, "But how is this the first time I've heard of this? This is genuinely one of the more tone-deaf performances I've seen. Who greenlit this?" Now a commenter said that Jay-Z was to blame as he produced the concert, but yeah, that's just not a good look at all. Then there's nothing happened in the elevator. In 2014, security footage was released of Solange attacking her brother-in-law Jay-Z in an elevator at a Met Gala after party. Now Beyoncé was there as well, stuck between her sister and her husband, but chose not to intervene and stood there as the two duked it out. Now the family attempted to brush it under the rug with a vague PR statement, but it became a pop culture moment. Now Beyoncé even references the altercation in her song Flawless remix, saying, "Of course sometimes go down when it's $1 billion on an elevator." Now we still haven't found out the reason why Solange attacked Jay-Z, but fans have speculated that she was angry with his infidelity to Beyoncé, but nothing has ever been confirmed that was the reason why she attacked him. Now we have stealing songs. Beyoncé's album Renaissance was met with multiple critiques after its release. Just one day after the album dropped, Khalees slammed Beyoncé for using a sample of her 2003 hit song Milkshake, allegedly without her permission. On Instagram she wrote, "My mind is blown too because the level of disrespect and utter ignorance of all three parties involved is astounding. I heard about this the same way everyone else did. Nothing is ever as it seems. Some of the people in this business have no soul or integrity, and they have everyone fooled. It's not about me being jealous, it has to do with the fact from one artist to another that you should have the decency and common sense and courtesy to call. There are bullies and secrets and gangsters in this industry that smile and get away with it until someone says enough is enough." Khalees also called out producers Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo at the same time. But it's clear that most fans just focused on her beef with Beyoncé. Though neither Beyoncé nor her team publicly commented on the post, they ended up removing the sample from the Spotify version of Energy in August 2022, but to this day you can still find it on Apple Music. Moving on to the Dubai performance. When Beyoncé returned to the stage for her first live performance in 5 years, it really left fans divided. Now to give you some background, her album Renaissance was labeled as a celebration of queer culture and made in collaboration with some of the LGBTQ community's biggest names. Now it pays tribute to dance music that emerged out of the gay community and also references the 1800s drag ballrooms in Harlem, New York. So when the location for Beyoncé's long-awaited concert was revealed, it did not sit well with many of her fans. Now she's reportedly paid around $25 million to perform at a star-studded private launch event for Dubai's Hotel Atlantis kiss the royal. While many fans rejoiced at Beyoncé's return to the stage, others pointed out the hypocrisy of performing in the UAE, where same-sex relationships are flat out illegal. Freelance music journalist Abigail Firth spoke to BBC News Beat about the controversy and pointed to the fact that Beyoncé's recent work is indebted to LGBT culture. She said, "It seems like a really misguided choice from her. She's obviously a multimillionaire anyway. She didn't really need to do this. She didn't really need the money." And that's probably where some of the backlash is stemming from as well. Then there's her rude lyrics. In August of 2022, Beyoncé announced that she would change the lyrics to her song Heated after backlash from disability rights activists. The track includes a slang term derived from an ableist word, which is considered a slur among people with cerebral palsy. Now, at the time, her team released a statement saying, "The word not used intentionally in a harmful way will be replaced." Not only that, but Beyoncé has also had other slip-ups with controversial lyrics. When her 2013 song Partition dropped, Monica Lewinsky complained about being in the song, which of course referenced her 1998 scandal. In an essay for Vanity Fair, she wrote, "Thanks Beyoncé, but if we're verbing, I think you meant Bill Clinton all on my gown." Now let's talk about the insensitive song. Speaking of inappropriate lyrics, this one got her in even more trouble. The song EXO from Beyoncé's 2013 album begins with audio of NASA's officer talking about a major malfunction involving the Challenger space shuttle, which exploded just over a minute after its launch. 7 astronauts passed away in the tragic incident, so it seemed a little insensitive for Beyoncé to use the audio in her song. Now, in a statement to ABC News, the singer tried to explain that she intended for the audio to be a tribute to those who died aboard the Challenger. "My heart goes out to the families of those lost in the Challenger disaster," she said at the time. The song EXO was recorded with the sincerest intention to help heal those who have lost loved ones and to remind us that unexpected things happen, so love and appreciate every minute that you have with those who mean the most to you. The songwriters included the audio in tribute to the unselfish work of the Challenger crew with the hope that they will never be forgotten. Now we have stealing performances. Beyoncé's 2011 Billboard Music Awards performance was one for the books, but it did cause some controversy. She did a rendition of Run the World Girls, but then she was accused of copying Italian singer Lorella Cucari in a performance she did 1 year prior in 2010. They later explained being inspired by her, adding that she had no intentions of stealing her stunning visuals. "My makeup artist showed me the performance of Lorella Cucari a year ago, and it inspired me so much. I then met with the talented people who worked on it. The technology and concept were so genius. Thank God for YouTube. Thank God for YouTube, or I would have never been exposed to something so inspiring. I've never worked so hard on anything in my life as that performance for the Billboard Awards," she told AOL Music following the backlash. But being inspired and directly copying, though, are two different things. Up next is stealing visuals. Beyoncé, Sony, Columbia, and the pop stars Parkwood Entertainment were all sued by indie filmmaker Matthew Folks over the visuals to her 2016 album Lemonade. Now, according to Matthew, Beyoncé jacked 9 scenes from his film Paranoia. He also claimed that he sent Parkwood Entertainment the short film, so he knows that several employees who worked on Lemonade had access to it. Now, 1 month after his June 2016 filing, Beyoncé's attorneys hit back, arguing visuals including graffiti and person with heads down, a parking garage, and side-lit ominous figures do not fall under copyright infringement. Now, they also argued that the narrative was completely different, as Lemonade dealt with portraying an African-American woman who progresses through stages of suspicion, denial, anger, and ultimately reconciliation in her relationship. Now, the US District Judge Jed Rakoff agreed, dismissing the suit in September 2016, but hey, I can see the similarities. And finally, we have Jay-Z's infidelity. Throughout Beyoncé's and Jay-Z's relationship, there's been much speculation about them breaking up, cheating, and getting divorced. Though the couple have never directly addressed the claim, Beyoncé pretty much confirmed it on her album Lemonade, with the lyrics including, "This is your final warning, you know I give you life, if you try this again, you gon' lose your wife, and he only want me when I'm not there, he better call Becky with the good hair." Yeah, This is her pretty much deciding to call him out for cheating, and he did. He confirmed it. He said, "I was really proud of the music she made, and she was really proud of the art I released. And you know, at the end of the day, we have a really healthy respect for one another's craft. I think she's amazing," Jay-Z told T Magazine in 2017. He said, "You know, most people walk away, and like divorce rate is 50% or something, because most people can't see themselves. The hardest thing is seeing the pain on someone's face that you caused, and then having to deal with it yourself. We did the hard work of going to therapy, we love each other, so we really put in the work for years. I like to believe that we're in a better place today, and I'm proud of the father and husband that I am today." Well, that's all for our list of the top 10 awful lies Beyoncé tried to get away with.
For a family that exists almost exclusively in the public eye, the Kardashians are also pretty good at keeping their secrets quiet. But cheating scandals, wage theft, and poor treatment of staff are all things that will always make it to the light. Let's get into it, folks. Kim Kardashian recently shared how she makes sure her kids aren't finishing all their Halloween candy. In an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live ahead of her American Horror Story Delicate Part 2 finale, the 43-year-old reality star and entrepreneur shared with Kimmel what it was like growing up next to Madonna in her childhood and adult years, and what it's like trick-or-treating with the Material Girl singer. Kimmel's like, "I would imagine this is like a celebrity neighborhood, but like, you've got good candy, right?" Kim was like, "Yes," and then Kimmel was like, "Madonna allowed her kids to eat candy? She seems very healthy." And Kim was like, "Yeah, absolutely, she's very healthy. But I mean, I take it and then I throw it away, or I donate it." Kimmel was like, "Okay, so if you take away your kid's candy, next time videotape it. I'd like to have it. Kind of a hobby of mine," which obviously he was referring to his viral segment where every year, the day after Halloween, parents videotape their kids telling them they ate all their candy, they send him the video, he plays it, and people laugh, or so I'm told. Apparently with fame comes the right to be slobs, at least according to the Kardashian housekeepers, who claim the girls never clean up after themselves, yet expect their rooms and closets to always be camera ready. Well, there's no doubt that the Kardashian women are busy with their multiple shows, their families, numerous business ventures. Some folks have argued that they don't have the right to be so demanding of the housekeepers who help to tend their homes, which I agree. This even led to a lawsuit in 2021, as reported by NBC News, with 7 workers, not 1, not 2, but 7, claiming that Kim Kardashian failed to pay overtime, cover expenses, and provide legally mandated breaks, while expecting her housekeepers to always be on call to pick up after her. Look, if you want luxury services, you've got to pay luxury prices. That's how it is. You've got to pay overtime. You got to pay expenses. You have to provide breaks. Legally mandated for a reason. Shayna Moakler, Travis Barker's ex-wife, went on a podcast and claimed that Kim Kardashian hooked up with him, which is a major bombshell considering Travis is now married to Kim's sister Kourtney. Not only that, but there was allegedly cheating involved. Yeah, Shayna claimed that Travis was seeing Kim behind her back and that Kim played a major part in the breakdown of their marriage. Now, this was during an appearance on the Dumb Blonde podcast, and Shayna revealed that she and Travis were working on their relationship when she was sent text messages between him and Kim from some anonymous source. What did those text messages say? They were trying to meet up at her sister's house to do the deed. Now, apparently when she showed the text to Travis, he had already deleted them. So yeah, she had reason to be suspicious. But what people can't seem to get over about this story is the fact that Travis might have been interested in Kim before he was into Kourtney. And that's something that would promote hurt feelings all around. But like, is Kim Kardashian really a homewrecker? Would she really go after her sister's man and not put it on TV? I don't know. Sounds unlikely to me. I feel like this should have been a storyline of some sort on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They say that as you get more and more famous, you get more and more lonely and isolated. Like, Kim K used to have a lot of high-profile celebs on her list of friends. We're talking Beyoncé, even Taylor Swift for a hot minute. But her former assistant Stephanie revealed that Beyoncé and Kim had quite the feud and often badmouthed each other, which hasn't become like super known because they did it privately in their homes. Stephanie also said that Kim has a hard time keeping friends because she thinks she's better than everybody else, and she tries to be better than everybody else too. Let's see, we've got a whole list of people that she's cut off over the years. Jordan Woods, Blac Chyna, and Drake. It's easy to judge someone who has a big ego, but would any of us act different in Kim's situation? Most of us will ever know, but like, why would you think you're better than your friends? According to a March 2023 Bloomberg Businessweek report, Kim was questioned by the feds as part of this crazy investigation into the big Malaysian financier. I think his name is JLo, who was a mogul at the center of the big infamous 1MDB fund embezzlement scandal. So US prosecutors alleged that Lo had stolen at least $4.5 billion from one Malaysia development berhad, which was founded and led by a former prime minister. The Justice Department indicted Lo in 2018 for conspiring to launder billions of dollars stolen from the development fund and paying out hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes. And since then, he's been like a fugitive. I think he's living in China. In 2019, Kim told the FBI that she once played Baccarat in a Las Vegas casino with Lo and others, and she ended up winning big. Now, he told her, keep your chips, which were worth $350,000. And she told the FBI that when she went to the casino counter to cash out, she was handed $250,000 in a trash bag full of $100 bills. So she put the trash bag full of cash in her carry-on bag and boarded a Southwest Airlines flight back to LA. Once again, sketch. On a later trip to Vegas, Kim collected the remaining $100K, again, in a trash bag. Look, I don't know a lot of big gamblers, but this sounds sketchy. Don't you think? Let me know in the comments. The Kardashians are known to take many extravagant vacations and ventures, and one memorable visit to Bora Bora on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, people will know about it. Well, there, Kim reportedly lost her diamond earrings, leading the whole family to search the water for her prized jewelry. Naturally, losing something of such great worth and importance brought plenty of viewers in and sparked a lot of discussion online about the episode. Everybody was worried, where's Kim's earring? Seriously, like, there's people who have never seen a whole episode of the show, but if you quoted them, Kim, there's people dying, they'd roar laughing. I'm not even a super fan. I quote it all the time. But the problem here, according to RadarOnline.com, Kim's ex-husband, Kris Humphries, said it didn't actually happen. Kim didn't lose her earrings. The move was a publicity stunt to get views. While this surely wasn't the only time Keeping Up with the Kardashians created a false moment, the lost earrings are a prime example of the lack of reality in the reality show. It also shows viewers should reserve judgment and sympathy when something happens on the show, since it might be fabricated for views, which is something we'll talk about more in a moment. We all know reality TV is quasi-scripted by this point in our lives. If you didn't, my bad. But like, when something is this heavily scripted, it's just annoying. When you hear about the Kardashians, you probably automatically assume they're entitled divas, and sadly, you're not wrong. Reports have surfaced that the Kardashians, especially the younger generation, were very kind to the camera crew when Keeping Up with the Kardashians first started in 2007. But as the show progressed, the family got a lot more famous, their kindness and respect for the crews they worked with dwindled, causing unpleasant and unfriendly moments, to say the least, behind the scenes. Ah yes, when fame and money reveal people's true colors. According to The Sun, the Kardashians repeatedly berate crew members and make unreasonable demands on anybody in their path. Additionally, the girls often try to direct what happens or demand multiple reshoots of simple moments on the show to place themselves in the best light they can, at the expense of the rest of the family and crew. Well, after learning how poorly they treat their staff, this probably isn't like a big surprise revelation to anybody, but like it's not a good thing, and probably something the girls want to keep under wraps. One of the most talked about events of Keeping Up with the Kardashians was Kim's extremely short-lived marriage to Kris Humphries. This marriage lasted less than 3 months and commanded headlines for like months if not years following the split. The whole situation was awkward and Humphries reportedly felt betrayed by Kim, feeling that the marriage was all in the name of ratings. The 72-day wedding will forever live on in infamy. And when you consider there's no such thing as bad publicity, I guess it was a boon for the girls. Why would they waste all that time and money? No. Why would you waste all that time and money if it wasn't gonna work out? Who knows? According to the Washington Post, the marriage was meant for just PR, just to drive awareness and ratings for the show. In fact, Kim wanted her goodbye to Humphries to be on the show, but producers were like, it's a little much. These days, Humphries wants nothing to do with the family and has asked to be completely omitted from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Sorry dude, wish you all the best away from this circus. This is probably one of the worst kept secrets, but it's worth mentioning. So easily one of the most controversial moments in the Kardashian saga is the release of Kim's intimate tape with Ray J. When the tape was first leaked, Kim sued the company to keep it out of the public eye. But a lot of folks have pointed out that Kim has made an impressive $5 million from the home movie. And it's possible that this leak was a publicity move. In fact, Ray J himself said it was Kim's mom, Kris, who actually released the tape. A lot of people believe the release by Kris was meant to drive attention to the family, and it worked. Only 6 months after the tape was leaked, Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered with strong viewership. For her part, Kris did do a lie detector test on The Late Late Show with James Corden and said she had nothing to do with the leak. But like, who's gonna trust a lie detector test on a talk show? Also, who trusts James Corden? As one might expect from a reality TV show these days. Yes, I've already said it, not everything you see is real. And a lot of the events on Keeping Up with the Kardashians were staged, including Kourtney's vicious vocal battles with Scott. It's just bonkers. According to the New York Daily News, once the camera stopped rolling, the duo would laugh about the filmed fights and the drama, and they would discuss how it would drive viewership up. That being said, it's also been revealed that Scott has faced serious addictions, leading some folks to wonder if the fights on the show were real, they were scripted, they were a mixture of both, just playing off of the original fights. The assumptions made were, well, maybe the fights being fake was a cover-up for how serious the issues were in the relationship. Regardless, there's no denying the tension these fights created among fans of the show. The duo ended up splitting for good in 2015, and Kourtney is now married to the famous musician Travis Barker. I guess we'll just never know what's real, what's calculated with the Kardashian family.
JLo's new Amazon Prime documentary and musical movie has caused quite a stir over the last week, especially in the Affleck-Lopez household. Once a couple 20 years ago, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are now back together, and fans are. Ben is reportedly angry with Jennifer currently after her new movie about their love life was recently released. Insiders told The Heat that Affleck was reportedly scared that JLo's new film, This Is Me Now, would ruin his career, and apparently that fear has not dissipated. There is a very real risk that this film will not get the reaction she is expecting. Ben's been complaining to friends this could end up being Jiggly 2.0. They said it will be especially embarrassing for him considering the career that he has built up and how seriously he takes his projects. He is scared he's made a big mistake getting involved. This is the second project they've worked on together, and since Jiggly was so panned by critics, receiving a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes and losing over $60 million at the box office, it seems as though Affleck has been worried about the same treatment, and it allegedly caused problems in their marriage. Ben Affleck also recently admitted the romance forced him to make major compromises. Jennifer was really inspired by this experience, which is how artists do their work, Affleck said. They get inspired by their personal life. It moves you. I know as a writer and director, I certainly do the same things, but things that are private, I always felt are sacred and special, in part because they are private. So this was something of an adjustment for me. At a screening earlier this week for the documentary, Lopez said that her husband was a, quote, reluctant participant in the whole thing. According to People, she told the audience during a Q&A session, the other scary part was that I was bringing into it my husband, who was kind of the reluctant participant and a silent participant and all. Affleck still admits his hesitancy with having the spotlight on their relationship. It's the first time that she's done something as an artistic form of expression that was purely for the sake of what she had to express. It was about bringing out the things she felt inside that she just wanted to say, Affleck said. And I don't really love being in the making of a documentary about my personal life, which is why I'm so relieved that it's not really, and it seems like I might be in this, but not really. I was worrying for no reason. The movie wasn't about me, it was about the ability to love yourself, and that love story is a lot effing harder to find than Prince Charming. Celebrity matchmaker Alessandra Conti notes that there's been a shift in how the public engages with famous couples. Navigating the complexities of fame and having a very public relationship was challenging back in the early 2000s, but now it has reached a different level. Every couple who is remotely in the public eye experiences an intense level of scrutiny, especially with the dawn of social media, she told Fox News. However, JLo and Ben have kept a relatively low profile when it comes to social media, and although they're supporting each other at professional events, they have kept the intimate details of their relationship private. This is a smart strategy, and as long as their privacy is maintained, it is a sustainable situation for him and JLo. Ben also needs to understand that whoever he dates, he will be scrutinized in the public eye. This is one of the trade-offs of fame, she says. In the documentary, the couple admitted they, quote, just crumbled under the pressure of being a tabloid phenomenon, and it put a strain on their relationship, leading them to call off their 2003 wedding 3 days before it was supposed to happen. I had a very firm sense of boundaries initially around the press, while Jen, I don't think, objected to it the way I did. I very much did object to it, Affleck said. Getting back together, I said, listen, one of the things I don't want is a relationship on social media. And then I realized it's not a fair thing to ask. It's sort of like you're gonna marry a boat captain, you want to like the water. We're just two people with kind of different approaches trying to learn to compromise. JLo is no stranger to headlines and tabloid drama though. Let's go down memory lane and rehash some of JLo's most shocking controversies. In 2020, Shakira and JLo co-headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, and she was accused of throwing some serious shade at Shakira. Lopez was seen getting into a heated debate with an NFL producer about her idea to have caged child performers on stage, a reference to the living conditions that youngsters face at border detention centers. She said, "I'm trying to give you something with substance, not just us out there shaking our effing butts in effing belly dancing. I want something real. I want something that's gonna make a statement, that's gonna say that we belong here and we have something to offer." The use of the term belly dancing, something which Shakira is very famous for, left many believing that she was dismissing her co-star's contributions. Jennifer Lopez was also accused of being insensitive to her husband's addiction issues in 2023 when she launched her own brand of alcoholic cocktails. The Let's Get Loud singer put her famous name to Dalola, a range of drinks created with mixologist Lynette Marrero. But having only just walked down the aisle with Ben Affleck, a recovering alcoholic, this latest business venture left a sour taste for some fans. There's also a rumor that JLo didn't used to sing on her old records. Rumors had been circulating for years that Jennifer Lopez had more than a little vocal help on hits such as Play, Ain't It Funny, and I'm Real. And in 2014, fellow R&B star Ashanti appeared to confirm that these tracks were essentially uncredited duets. Jenny from the Block is another Lopez banger whose chorus you may struggle to hear the lead artist on. In 2019, Natasha Ramos said, "JLo did indeed go in the studio and lay down background vocals over my voice. So I wouldn't say that she's so much lip syncing. However, the backgrounds are predominantly me, some ad-libs and laughs as well." Luckily, Ramos doesn't hold a grudge against the Hollywood star, but does against her label for failing to give her proper credit. Last year on TikTok, there was a viral trend going around, fans exposing JLo horror stories, and some of these are shocking. One woman described the experience of helping JLo at Foot Locker. She said Lopez, quote, "cussed me out because the store didn't have the correct size for the shoes she wanted to buy her twins." But that was nothing compared to the story another woman had after Lopez came to stay in a house where she used to work as a maid. She described how a nail artist was called in to give Lopez a pedicure in bed, which the nail tech had to do upside down because Lopez, who was laying on her stomach, refused to roll over onto her back. And if you're thinking of making eye contact with JLo, never do it. A TikToker who says that her father worked as a driver for a car company, often used by JLo, said that even a driver glancing in the rear view mirror sparked Lopez to berate him for invading her privacy. Unsurprisingly, her father eventually refused to drive Jennifer ever again. JLo's new Amazon Prime movies aren't getting the best hype, as some say it is the worst movie ever made. One reviewer made a list called "The Reasons Why This Sucked." "I had no idea what was going on in the movie," she says. "There was no theme, actually. There were too many themes. There were so many talented artists in the movie who were used more as props. They should have had a bigger role." She goes on to say, "This movie seems like an ode to herself for nailing down a man, Ben Affleck. It's not really about love. This is a movie about conquering a man." She's basically telling everybody that the other relationships that her and Ben had were just filler until they could be together again. Her kids and Ben kids are going to be watching this. Do they really need to know how much she loves sleeping with their dad? We all know it's not her voice singing those songs, and then she continues by saying, "And if it is, auto-tune should get a lot of the credit." She is narcissistic, over the top, and way too in love with herself. For people clicking more than 2 stars, did you actually watch it, or are you just clicking on 5 stars because you love this ego maniac? Yikes. Alright, back to Ben and Jennifer. More inside details of their private life were released in her accompanying documentary that was just released this past week. Early in the documentary, Lopez reveals that she showed her musical collaborators a collection of letters that Affleck gave to her as a gift. "This book is a book that Ben gave me on our first Christmas back together. It's every letter and email that we wrote to each other from 20 years ago and today," she says. The cover of the thick binder says, "Handwritten, the greatest love story never told by Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, 2001 to 2022 and counting." Jennifer explains, "It became like our Bible and we just left it there in the studio." Ben Affleck, however, was surprised their correspondences were made public. "I was like, you've been showing all the musicians all these letters?" And they were like, "Yeah, we call you Pen Affleck," he recalls in the documentary. documentary, I did really find the beauty and the poetry and the irony in the fact that it's the greatest love story never told, and if you're making a record about it, that seems kinda like you're telling it. He adds later that he had to adjust to the change. But things that are private, I've always felt are sacred and special because they're private, so this was something of an adjustment for me.
Jada Pinkett Smith can't seem to stop lying, from hiding her divorce for 7 years to claiming Tupac proposed to her, and that oh-so-messy affair. It'll be hard today to figure out the worst of it, so let's get into it. So amid Jada's attempts to promote her recent memoir, she appeared in the headlines after claiming that the late hip-hop icon Tupac proposed to her while he was imprisoned at Rikers in 1995. However, a now viral TikTok video and his pals quickly shut down that whole batch of lies. So TikTok user Jessa Miami presented the timeline in a clip saying, "Her math ain't mathin'," and if you're unfamiliar with the phrase, it means that things aren't adding up or making sense. She started by mentioning the conviction in 1995 and sentencing after he was found guilty of harming Ayanna Jackson. He received a 1.5 to 4.5 years prison sentence, but he only served 9 months after Death Row Records mogul Suge Knight bailed him out. The All Eyes on Me rapper was dating Keisha Morris at the time as the alleged marriage proposal, raising more questions. She said, Tupac already had a girlfriend. He proposed to Keisha, and she said this in a September 2011 interview. And he proposed before he even went into prison, and they were already engaged. They got married in April. Jada's lying, and I have the timeline to prove it, Jess said in the clip. I can't handle these effing lies anymore. She expressed her disbelief as Jada's story suggested that Tupac proposed to her even when he was already engaged to another woman. In addition, she had already met Will Smith months before this alleged proposal and began dating him after his divorce from Cherie. So Jada made quite the headline last year when she appeared on the Today Show to promote said biography. This big reveal, the sensational headline that's meant to give her the big spotlight moment, was this. She and Will Smith, who have aggressively marketed themselves as a marriage success story, have actually been separated for the last 7 years. Or, I think. She was asked, it was a divorce on paper, but was it a divorce? And Jada said oh no, it's a divorce. So why not just announce it? Why keep up this 7-year-long charade? And Jada was well, I think not being ready yet. Even though she's had 7 years to get used to being ready. She's we're still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership. Okay, but isn't the point of divorce to no longer be in partnership? Sorry, Jada, can you just make sense, please? These are the questions any serious interviewer should be asking. But instead, everybody else and all the outlets were okay, yep, you do you, sure, let's just print it. When you have multiple podcast stories diving into this amazing love story, aggressively marketing this love story on the red carpet, and you've got Will Smith implying in his own memoir that they had weathered tough times, but they're still together. You've got him slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars to defend his wife's honor. And all that quote-unquote authenticity was just to obscure the bottom line. They weren't together. Now, Jada might have hoped her candid confession about the state of her marriage would help, sell copies of this biography, titled worthy by the way. Reputation expert Eric Schiffer claims she's probably going to end up paying a hefty price for the shock revelations. Jada and Will's trust and reputation with the public was kind of hit hard by revealing that they were separated for this long. The two hid it from the public, appearing together to serve their self-absorbed, out-of-touch celebrity elite agenda. Now Eric, who serves as the chairman of Reputation Management Consultants, added the duo were deluded and failed to see that audiences today are easily disgusted by celebrity phoniness. Folks are now going to question and be slow to trust many of the stories in Jada's book. Somebody needs to take pictures of copies of the book in the science fiction section, or just the fiction section, please, for a joke. August Alsina first spoke about his entanglement with Jada in his interview with The Breakfast Club's Angela Yee, and revealed that oh no, we're good, will give us his blessing. Well, in a June 30th of 2022 statement to Page 6, Jada's representative said it was absolutely not true. So 1 month later, on her podcast, The Red Table Talk, yes, she revealed that she had an entanglement with the Make It Home rapper. She said, through that particular journey, I've learned so much about myself and was able to confront a lot of emotional immaturity, emotional insecurity, and I was really able to do some deep healing. She said about the entanglement. She also clarified that no, I'm not in an open marriage, as been speculated at the time. Instead, she said, Will and I briefly broke up. There were some marital struggles. Yeah, we know otherwise now. Tensions were incredibly high during the deeply emotional conversation, but when they wrapped up the episode, everybody was like, oh, all the drama's in the past. In an exclusive interview with People, Jada claimed that once upon a time, Chris Rock asked her out on a date when reports about her and Will allegedly divorcing emerged. She said like, oh, and this particular summer, Chris, he thought that we were getting a divorce. So he called me and basically he was like, I would love to take you out. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, aren't you and Will just getting a divorce? And she's like, no, Chris, those are just rumors. Now, while the What to Expect When You're Expecting star has yet to respond directly to the claim, a source told the Daily Mail that Chris Rock was frustrated hearing the story make it to the news. People may have started to move on, but now it's back in the limelight, and it's just frustrating that everything's coming back to the forefront. They added that Chris wanted Jada to keep his name out of her mouth. Sorry, dude, turns out he was right. They were split up. They just didn't want to go public about it. They really kept up that whole damn rigmarole. So, there was once a time when Jada Pinkett Smith, one half of a Hollywood golden couple, actually made movies. But since she launched this podcast back in 2018, Jada's only really been talking about one specific thing: personal disclosures and her marriage and her naughty life. You know what I mean? Coitus. She's made her life a quote-unquote open book, but apparently now that's a work of fiction. So after 5 years of running a liquidation sale on her marital secrets and innermost thoughts, what's actually left to fill a book? Well, no worries, folks. She had that ace in her pocket. Once again, she used that book to announce the divorce, or quiet separation. Like, yes, they still act like a couple in public, so I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Not a divorce on paper, but it was a divorce. Now, don't get me wrong, there are divorced couples that do have a healthy relationship for their offspring, but this is more than that. In her 2015 interview on The Howard Stern Show, Jada said she would have lost her Matrix role long before she started filming if she was 100% truthful about her pregnancy. At the time, she hid the fact that she was carrying her daughter Willow. Like, she didn't get the role of Trinity, but they kept her in mind. And they wrote this part for her, she mentioned. And like, I'll never forget when they called me and they were like, Jada, we have this role for you, but like, you're pregnant. Well, she told the crew that Willow would be out in October, even though her expected delivery was in the beginning of November. Well, luckily for everybody, Willow Smith was born on Halloween night of the year 2000, and Jada shared that she got in the gym, she got it together, she was super excited to be part of the franchise, but like, oof, that could not be healthy. Leah Remini told the Daily Beast in 2017 that Jada was a member of Scientology, but Jada denied this claim in a tweet. She's like, I have studied Dianetics, which that's the Scientology thing, and I appreciate the merits of study tech, but I am not a Scientologist. Okay, well, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. 2 years later, Scientologist Sam Domingo disclosed to the Daily Mail that she had encountered Jada at the Church of Scientology Celebrity Center, which is in LA, seeing as apparently Jada was a top recruiter for the organization. Once again, she hasn't come out and said more, but like, Dianetics. Girl, no. So for many years, Jada has painted herself as the perfect parent for her children. Fans supported her when she said her and Will's ultimate goal was to prepare them for the world. She's like, I don't want to make decisions for you. I want to prepare you as much as I can, as quickly as possible, and give you, well, as much power over your life as quickly as I can. Here's the thing. Both Jaden Smith and Willow Smith have repeatedly shared struggles of having Will and Jada as their parents, saying that the spotlight made them feel terrible. And despite the contradicting experiences, yes, they did eventually express their gratitude to have their parents as their parents. Jada decided to hash up once again the 2022 Oscar slap heard around the world, and she insisted she didn't cause it. However, a lot of viewers accused her of triggering Will to do it by rolling her eyes at Chris Rock's joke about her. And a viral TikTok video supported the claim by showing the angle that captured Jada tilting forward and laughing after the slap. Another video captured Will laughing at Chris's joke, but then he immediately walked up to the stage after seeing Jada roll her eyes and show a displeased reaction. So, where's the truth here? And finally for today, a lot of folks have spotted signs that Jada might have fibbed about her struggles with alopecia. So Jada opened up about it in an early episode of her podcast, sharing that she felt terrified when she noticed her hair started falling out. She's like, it was terrifying when it first started. I was in the shower one day and then just handfuls of hair in my hands and I was like, oh my god, am I going bald? But fans, theorists, and experts have given their 2 cents over the years and stories aren't adding up. Dr. Gary Linkoff, a double board certified medic by the American Academy of Facial Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery and the American Board of Head and Neck Surgery, who also suffers from alopecia, explained that she might have mistaken or exaggerated the damage caused by the illness. Now, according to this medical expert who did not treat the actress, the alopecia Jada described on the top of her head looks like a scar that she gained from like a facelift. So in his opinion, Jada's only bald because of some degree of traction alopecia, which is caused by her extreme hairstyles and yeah. So what do you think, folks?
It's no secret that Hollywood has an ageism problem, especially when it comes to women. But in what instances has this led celebrities, young and old, to lie about their age? In the wake of Pitch Perfect 2's groundbreaking release weekend, Rebel Wilson was caught in one of these very old-fashioned age scandals. According to one of Wilson's high school classmates speaking anonymously to an Australian tabloid, Wilson had been lying about her age, her name, her upbringing, and her family's class. Those claims were amplified across the Australian and international press and social media, which began a tirade to know the real Rebel Wilson. On May 18, 2015, Wilson addressed the rumors via Twitter, joking, "Oh my god, I'm actually an 100-year-old mermaid, formerly known as CC Chalice. Thanks, shady Australian press, for your tall poppy syndrome." In the aftermath, investigations into business and voting records did show that Wilson's legal name is actually Melanie Elizabeth Bounds. She's not 29 as previously claimed on her IMDb page, but actually 35, born March 2nd of 1980. Rebel's fans maintained her lives weren't actually that abnormal or horrendous, with one Reddit user even pointing out that being 30 in Pitch Perfect isn't that strange, seeing as, quote, Anna Camp, Esther Dean, Adam Devine, etc. aren't that far behind her and were also playing college students as well. Ironically, Ben Platt was the only cast member who was 18 playing a 19-year-old. While some celebs are outed by former classmates, some like Constance Wu are outed by, well, their fans just not believing what they say about their age. Because when Fresh Off the Boat first came out and it gave Wu her big break, she pretended to be in her early 20s and even did interviews all like, "LOL, I'm playing a mom of teens and yet I'm so young," but her own beloved fans didn't buy it, especially upon the release of the movie Hustlers. It sparked rumors and theories online that she was faking her age. In February 2015 interview with Glamour, trying to prompt an age answer from the actress, Wu was asked about what her on-screen husband Randall Park, who was 40, was like compared to her alleged 26. Constant Wu's response was to brazenly joke that he was immature while she was mature, and it made them feel like they were the same age. When the interviewer pressed further, suggesting Constance wasn't actually old enough to have birthed her on-screen kids, the actress countered that biologically she was. In an interview the following year, 2016, Vulture set things right. In it, Wu is asked whether she's actually 26 like she had been claiming, or as the media had been reporting, was she 34. Wu claimed she was 34 and explained not correcting anyone previously by saying, "I think originally on Wikipedia it listed my age incorrectly. There's a lot of ageism in the industry, so when people would talk about it, I just wouldn't correct them." While these two leading ladies lie downwards, some lie upwards about their age, like a young Lawrence Fishburne. He is the OG of lying about your age to nab a role actor. Lawrence was only 14 when he cold-faced lied to Francis Ford Coppola himself about being 16 to play the 17-year-old character Tyrone Clean Miller in the legendary 1976 film Apocalypse Now. Fishburne explained in 2013 interview he was not fooling producer Fred Roos, though who he says knew him from a different project he had done when he was younger. So needless to say, the casting team wasn't entirely sure if he looked as old as he claimed to be, so they needed an extra set of eyes. To quote Fishburne, "A young woman who was working in the offices, a secretary, got up and walked through the room," he said. "And as she was walking, Francis finally spoke up, and he just looked at her and said, 'Excuse me, you think this kid could be 18? And whoever this woman was, she turned around, looked at me and went, yeah." With the validation of an unaffiliated third party, Fishburne got the part, and although he was 14 when shooting began, he was 18 years old by the time the movie was released in theaters. However, his true age of 14 was actually confirmed to the entirety of cast during the filming of a specific scene where he had to talk about his love of Playboy magazines, and he fumbled through it. Caught aging himself down as the man who'd normally never fumble, that's Eminem. And there's quite a few age slip-ups from this rapper. Once on Howard Stern's radio show in 1999, Eminem claimed to be 24. However, he was actually 27. On some tracks from TES and MMLP, he says his age, but it's always 2 years less than what it actually is. That, and in TES, a Square One Stance lyric dropped is, "I'm 28, they gonna take you for they take me." Also, there's a video of Eminem celebrating his birthday on stage in 2002, and it says, "Happy 26th birthday." So a lot of confusion, but why did Eminem lie? Same reason as many celebrities, it's competition. There were a lot of young men in hip-hop when Eminem was pushing himself out there, and the internet was just getting big, so it's not like anyone was gonna fact check him, at least for not a long time. So Eminem often subtracted 2 to 4 years from his stage age, which he later admitted in an interview after it was found out because his mother released his birth certificate as part of that period of time where she was harassing him like crazy. So Geri Halliwell lied due to competitive reasons as well, as she was part of the girl group the Spice Girls during an era of utter girl group competition. Geri was known as Ginger Spice and told the press she was 21 to match herself up with the ages of her bandmates and not throw off the public perception of, women being perceived as old in the industry earlier than anyone else. However, it was her own homegirl who did her in. A fellow band member, Victoria, aka Posh Spice, let slip an interview Halliwell is older than 21, but never specified how much older, which sent the internet into a frenzy of speculation and gossip. At Fuel to the Fire, Melanie Brown has also claimed since Halliwell has lied about her age for decades and said no one knows how old she is. She even revealed her friend always kept her passport close to her chest when they were on tour as the Spice Girls. Scary Spice admitted she doesn't believe Ginger Spice was born in 1972, despite even celebrating her 50th birthday with her celebrity friend. Speaking of pop queens lying about their age, one for my Irish viewers, Nadine Cole. So, the Girls Aloud band member was on a show called Pop Stars, where she lied about her age in order to compete in the talent show. In a hilarious clip, it was revealed that Nadine had been lying about her age and was just 16, which is 2 years younger than the minimum age requirement of 18 for that Irish show. So the clip shows her panicking on camera when confronted about her age. She starts digging through her purse for a birth certificate or a passport she knows she won't find. She starts awkwardly calling her mom, asking where her passport is. It's a bit of social media history in Ireland apparently, and highly memed in reference there as well. Nadine Cole was disqualified from the competition and sent back home to Derry, but Lewis Walsh later encouraged her to enter the UK version of the show, Pop Stars The Rivals, the following year, and she actually has since had a career. Nicola Colin actually accredited the iconic clip to how she learned how to do her Derry girl's accent while in an interview with Graham Norton. To quote Sandra Bullock, after a while, you have no idea how old you are because you've lied so many times. She said that back in an interview with Detour in 1993, but before that interview and after, the actress has lied about her age almost endlessly. Old or younger really doesn't matter to Sandy, who uses lying about her age and keeping its true number a secret as a tactic to land roles that she feels she truly desires. So Bullock confessed in 1992 that she lied about her age to get cast in The Love Potion No. 9. The part of the biologist Diane Farrow called for a 29-year-old actress, but she was actually younger at the time. The multi-award winning actor was told by Barbara Walters that it would be wise to tell a white lie, so she convinced everyone she was 29 to get the role. Laverne Cox opened up about her struggle with aging in a similar fashion. The actress has formally claimed to be born in 1982, when it was actually 1972. Now reminder, Laverne did start off in the drag world, where it's actually really normal for performers to shave off like 10 years or more, but she carried on lying about her age after having a man break up with her when she was 28 for being too old. Worried about castability and desirability, Laverne lied about her age as she made her big break in Orange is the New Black, a show that would accidentally help reveal her true age. See, Laverne's twin brother plays her character pre-gender transition in the show, and when fans went to Google if that fact was true, yo, that's so cool, they find his IMDb, which has his real age listed. And seeing as Laverne and her brother are fraternal twins, the fact that her age was listed 10 years after his on IMDb didn't make much sense. So then on the Ellen show, she's called out and she says, IMDb found out my real age, so it started appearing places, and it was freaking me out. I was having such anxiety, so I started talking to my therapist about it. I started unpacking all the stories I had about being older, and the stories were all like I wasn't hireable, I wasn't dateable, I wasn't effable, and then I just worked through all that. On a somewhat funnier note, Chris Brown's age was revealed when he was trying to win love from the astrology girlies, so he posted his full astro circle chart to his Instagram story. Brown, however, is only smart enough to remove his birth date from his birth chart, meaning one eagle-eye Instagram user who studied astrology called him out in the comments, writing, if this chart is true, hey Chris Brown, you're 4 years older than what you actually claim. Turns out his Saturn was in the late degree of Scorpio, and his Pluto was in an early degree of Scorpion. Add that together, and his stars were in Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. So Chris Brown's birthday was revealed to be May 1985, not 89, and as a result, he blocked the first astrologer to call him out in the comments and then deleted all of his star charts and refuses to address this. Mariah Carey, for her part, told Complex in 2016 she just doesn't even believe in having a birthday. Mariah Carey's true birth year has long been debated in the press and social media, with evidence supporting both 1969 and 1970 as the correct answer. With that little difference, it really doesn't matter, and it seems Mariah shares my opinion, as she herself is quoted to have said she she really just wants to remain eternally oblivious to age. To quote her, "I was just dropped here. It was a fairyland experience," she said in 2016. 3 years later, the singer maintained that she doesn't believe in aging, saying to an interview, "I don't get this 10-year challenge. Time is not something I acknowledge." She also captioned 2 similar photos of herself in January 2019 after a social media transformation went viral, picture taken at some point prior to today.